Since I left the MAGA movement, the black MAGA goofies on TikTok are trying to do a little bit of clout chasing by coming for me, which we're about to see today is a very bad idea. No, I didn't switch teams. I'm an independent because I'm disgusted at what the Republican Party has become under Donald Trump. This party used to be a quiet place, but since Donald Trump became the leader of the GOP, look at what we have representing conservative voices. Bootlicking online panhandlers who are politically inept that tap dances to a rhythm of living in self-denial. Pretentious white trash troglodytes that came over from the Democratic Party who are forever overcompensating. Fast-talking and snarky white trust fund babies who profits from fanning the flames of racial division. Like Trump won the election. We're supposed to be talking about what Donald Trump is doing to make America great again, not getting involved with messy arguments about race that does nobody a damn bit of good. My reasons for leaving MAGA was something that was a long time coming, but welcoming white South African apartheid parasites was my tipping point. The last thing that we need in a country that's already racially divided are entitled white troglodytes who comes from a custom of hating black people. It is not a good look for Donald Trump to mass deport black and brown immigrants just to turn around and welcome white trash South African immigrants. We got enough entitled poor white trash in this country with racially bigoted views. And yes, I've been to South Africa post-apartheid and the racial tensions there are still high. Which brings me to this black MAGA goofy who decided to stitch one of my videos on TikTok. Hey, but this is where I get off. I don't know what Donald Trump was thinking about.
Wow. Now that was a disturbing display. Didn't expect that, but it's okay. It's all right. Because you know what? This is America. And this that I joined long fucking time ago was for the simple reason that you get to say what you want to.
Am I learning something new today? Because the last I checked, our constitutional rights were not in jeopardy by a foreign adversary since World War II. And this guy doesn't look old enough to be a World War II veteran, and there was no official Air Force until 1947. The display of foolishness that we're about to hear today would make me wonder if DEI is what got him into the Air Force. As we're all about to see, they had to have lowered that bar for this black man to get into the Air Force.
But like I've always said, there's consequences to everything.
Like you're about to find out the hard way that there's consequences for stitching my video. By the way, this is not bullying. This is for educational purposes only.
Like, it's just my opinion this time. I've watched a lot of your stuff. I agree with about 80% of what you have to say. But here's what I've been saying for a long time, and I just love it when people do it for me. You cannot wear a mask forever. Your true feelings always come out. Now, hopefully, you'll understand that the feelings that you have, well, maybe emotional, are not very logical.
And why do I get the feeling that this man is not going to give me a logical response?
Let me outline that for you, my friend. When did apartheid end? I mean, when did the black folks in Africa, the South Africa, assume power? That was back in Mandela's day, was it not?
1994 is when apartheid ended, which is the year that I graduated high school. 31 years ago, 11,094 days ago. And one thing that I did do in high school that it seems you failed to do was pay attention in history class.
Okay. Now, this guy's been in the fucking ground forever. In the farms, when they first started doing that shit and started killing people and taking those farms, it was all about getting even. It had very little to do with what was right. It was about fucking vengeance. You know it, and I do.
And if this was about vengeance, then we would have to revert to what you were saying about consequences. Now, where was that same energy for the decades of apartheid where black people in South Africa were brutally beaten, falsely imprisoned, and brutally taken out of this world? And why are you upset that black people in South Africa are retaliating for years of turmoil? Let me make it a little bit more simple for you so you can understand it. Name me one European country that didn't get revenge after they were oppressed. The Irish were getting revenge on the British for decades after centuries of their oppression. Germany is still paying the price today for what their leader done in World War II. The French and the English are somehow still butting heads. And how long ago was the French Revolution? Hell, we still have white Southerners to this very day who are still upset about the results of the Civil War, and rightfully so. We'll talk about that on another video. So you expect the South African black folks to do something that white Europeans can't bring themselves to do, which is to be forgiving?
Because if it was about doing what was right, then they would have learned how to fucking farm first. And that place wouldn't have a fucking food issue right now, getting ready to head into a catastrophe fucking area. You know it, and I know it.
Do we not have our own problems with a food shortage and a failing supply chain in the United States, or did Trump fix that already? So I want to know, how is Trump putting America first by bringing in these troglodytes over from South Africa? That is our tax dollars that's being given to them so they can flee from a country that they contributed to its downfall. So now are MAGA Republicans open to socialism and socialist programs?
I didn't see anybody in their 90s that were coming out of there. Okay. These are people who lived under that system.
So these first generation post-apartheid people don't carry the bigoted views of their parents that they instilled in them. Some of those people that I saw coming were alive and well when apartheid ended. And once again, apartheid ended 31 years ago. I gotta know, how did you score high enough on the ASVAB to get yourself into the Air Force? And what was your MOS in the Air Force? Because I thought you flyboys were intelligent, but you can't read or do simple math. There is a negative stereotype about Black people having a low IQ, and it seems that you inadvertently confirm that bias.
Just like your ass lives under this one, that you're allowed to do things that people there weren't allowed to do. Here's something else you were allowed to do. You were allowed to get your big ass on a plane and take your ass over there and make things right. You see,
make things right? Once again, I was in Cape Town in post-apartheid South Africa. I was there on company business, not as a politician, not as a social worker.
You fall into the same fucking category as a bunch of motherfuckers from this country protesting and raising the flags of other fucking countries.
When have you ever seen me fly any other flag than the American flag or the rebel flag? When I was flying my rebel flag, I was not protesting. I was giving a history lesson, just like I'm having to give you one.
About the black thing, the fucking South Africans sold your monkey ass into motherfucking slavery, and they never fucking thought about your ass afterward. Not during apartheid, not now. So what the fuck are you talking about?
So is it a Republican talking point to blame everyone for slavery when they're shielding themselves from accountability? Oh, the Democrats were the party of slavery. It wasn't Democratic donations that landed me in a new tax bracket in 2021 from flying this flag. Game recognizes game. Now you're saying the Black South Africans are the ones who sold Black people into slavery? We could talk about the myth of the transatlantic slave trade on another video, but let's just pretend like the Middle Passage really existed. How long ago were you in the Air Force? Because you have no knowledge of basic geography. We learned how to read a map back in elementary school. If I was a gambling man, I would bet my left nut that you were not a pilot in the Air Force. You would have been ordered to fly to Houston and ended up in Honolulu. Africa is not a country. It's a continent that's made up of many different countries, 54 to be exact. I thought I'd tell you that to save you the trouble of having to count them. And if you notice, down at the very bottom of the African continent is a country called South Africa. Now let's look at the myth of the transatlantic slave trade when we were told the route of the Middle Passage. According to the myth, slaves were taken from the sub-Saharan part of Africa. That is thousands of miles north of the country of South Africa. Are you learning anything today?
I just like to know. Now I'm coming at you like this because I want you to fucking come back. I like to you to explain. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, not only am I responding to you, but I'm giving you the free education that you missed in high school. And get that bass out of your voice. We all know that you wouldn't be that vulgarly reckless with your mouth if you ran up on my 6'7", 365-pound big ass outside of the internet.
And oh, by the way, supporting Trump to me was never no motherfucking ride. Okay? It's right versus wrong. If you want to fucking ride and get a fucking wig, paint that shit blue and take your ass to fucking Disneyland and ride all you can afford.
Supporting Trump to you is not a ride. It is a grift, just like many other Black MAGA grifters who are trying to supplement their incomes by coming online and saying to Black people what is politically incorrect for white people to say to Black people. You regurgitate white supremacist talking points and package your hateful rhetoric as tough love. You know it, and I know it. I'm kind of glad that this whole Black fatigue thing is a trend in the racist sector of social media. These bigots no longer need a useful idiot such as yourself to parrot their talking points. With that being said, you might want to reinvent yourself, Steve Urkel. Let me scratch that from the record. Urkel was goofy, but he was highly intelligent. You're just plain goofy, and your lack of intelligence is twice as laughable. I really expected more from an Air Force veteran than the pretentious posturing and word salad seasoned with vacuous vulgarities. But since we're grifting, here's my cash app for my dog walking business. As you can tell from this video, my skills in dog walking speaks for itself. If you didn't get enough smoke today, you're welcome to come back anytime for more, Mr. Tyrone Thornhill Jr. on TikTok. I'm Ricky Manor of the Melanated Rebel News Network. Go ahead and give this video a like, subscribe, share the video, and leave me a comment in the comment section below to let me know your thoughts.